Today we have Colorado State film review heading into the NCAA Tournament. This is the Wolverine of On3 Sports, the best of college sports and recruiting. After a roller coaster of a season, Michigan is back to the NCAA Tournament as an 11 seed against 6-seeded Colorado State in the South region. A lot of Colorado State's games are on really late on CBS Sports Network, so their games are a bit hard to catch. But look, just know this is a really good basketball team, and they're a 6th seed for a reason. Maybe they haven't played the same amount of tough teams as you'd see in a high major conference, but they've still played and beaten some tough competition. I watched them play against Mississippi State, a team who had Garrison Brooks from North Carolina, Rocket Watts from Michigan State, NBA draft prospect Iverson Molinar, and Colorado State found themselves down 8 to 11 points a few separate times and never gave up. They fought back throughout the game and eventually won, despite being outmatched athletically and physically. They always had belief and wasn't afraid. Michigan has had issues closing games this season. That can't happen against Colorado State. Colorado State's overall record is 25-5, and they played in 8 Quad 1 games, going 5-3. Every single Quad 1 game that they've played were against conference opponents. They do have common opponents. Michigan played and beat both San Diego State and UNLV, beating San Diego State by 14 points and beating UNLV by 13 points. Against those teams, Colorado State is a combined 1-4. They're rated 6th nationally in offensive efficiency and 179th in defensive efficiency. They're fairly hard to guard and well coached, but defensively, they have their weaknesses. Number 21, David Roddy, is a 6'5", 6'6", 260-pound forward out of Minnesota. He was voted first-team All-Mountain West and the Conference Player of the Year, and was named third-team All-American by Sports Illustrated. The junior has had an incredible year, averaging 19.4 points, 7.6 rebounds, and 2.8 assists, while shooting 57.4% from the field and 45.5% shooting from three-point range. He's built like a football player, but he's quick, strong, explosive, and a top competitor. He's a good shooter from the outside, and he's capable of getting past slower defenders and finishing very well around the rim. He can score in a multitude of ways. Roddy is technically a wing, but when he's the small ball 5, he allows the offense to play 5 out, leaving the paint open for slashing and cutting to the rim. When he's in at the 5, Michigan must take full advantage of their size and punish the interior on offense. Michigan's forwards will have their hands full. They've had to guard versatile forwards before, like E.J. Liddell and Keegan Murray. David Roddy is no different as an NBA prospect, and he's going to be one of their toughest matchups they've had all year long. Number 4, Isaiah Stevens, is a 6', 185-pound guard out of Texas. Stevens has been an aggressive scorer since he first arrived on campus 3 years ago, and now as a junior, he's been a consistent force. He is averaging 14.9 points, 3.1 rebounds, and 4.8 assists on 46.7% shooting from the floor and 37.3% shooting from 3. Just last season, he almost shot 43% from long range. Over the last 3 games, he's hit 7 of his 13 three-point attempts. Only around 32% of his shots come from long range, so he has a balanced attack. Not afraid to get to his mid-range jump shot or attack all the way to the rim. Eli Brooks has had to play defense against some of the tougher guards in the country over the past few years. I'd expect him to hold his own in this matchup. Colorado State runs one of the most efficient offenses in the country, and it starts both with Roddy and Stevens. They do have other players, but these are the guys. Neutralizing these 2 matchups will result in a Michigan win, and letting these 2 run wild will result in a short-lived NCAA tournament. Number 1, John Tondra, is a 6'5", 210-pound wing out of Nebraska. He averages 9.4 points and 3 rebounds on 47.8 shooting from the floor and 38.1% shooting from the three-point line. He has had a scoring outburst of 31 and 20 points this year and has started the last 11 games. His scoring has dropped off the last 5 games, but he offers scoring as the 3rd leading scorer on this team, and he adds some size to the perimeter. He can shoot the ball well, but he excels in the pick-and-roll game, cutting to the rim and in transition. In my opinion, there is a heavy drop-off in talent after these 3. Colorado State plays about 10 guys, and I'm curious if they shorten the bench, but if they try to use their depth, Michigan needs to have some effective runs in those 9 to 13 minutes the bench players are being utilized. Michigan has experienced players who have made deep runs. They were 2 points away from a Final Four just last year. They have a starter in Eli Brooks who played in a national championship game. Every team you play at this point in the season is contending for a Final Four. There are no slouches. This won't be the first time Colorado State has played against a bigger team. They've been preparing for this moment all year long to beat one of the more successful programs in the last decade. The last time Colorado State went to the NCAA Tournament, Trey Burke was leading Michigan to a national title game in 2013. This Colorado State group may not get another opportunity like this, so they'll be trying to make this tourney bid worth their while.